and welcome to Faith on Film, a program designed to do one thing, and that is to keep you informed on everything that's happening in the faith-based film world, and to connect with all those that are a part of it. And in fact, today I have one of those that I want to share with you. His name is Daniel Knudsen, and he's a filmmaker originally from Detroit, Michigan. He has worked in the Christian film industry and Hollywood for the past decade and a half. He has produced and or directed 10 feature films, and is recently starring alongside former Superman actor Dean Cain in the upcoming movie Skydog. Daniel, welcome to Faith on Film. How are you doing today?
Hello, Isaac. Thank you. It's great to be here. I am doing well, and we're actually having a pretty nice day. I'm back in Michigan today, and it was snowing yesterday, but it's beautiful outside today.
It is snow now. Okay, I want to let the audience know that, first of all, this program is going to air like in June, but we're taping it in April, where we're like April 17th or so. It snowed yesterday?
It's like April. Yes, it snowed yesterday in Michigan. So
wow.
It was like a blizzard outside. I should have taken some footage and texted you.
Oh my goodness. I am so glad at times like this that I live in Southern California.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, most of my friends that I have on the program here started their film careers when they were like, I don't know, some of them say 3, 4, 5 years old, 10, 12. When did you start your film career, or when did you know that you wanted to be in films?
Good question. Well, I was always, as a child, loved acting and kind of just doing that type of performance thing. I think I always had that bug. But when I was a little kid, my dad, who is a pilot for, right now, Delta Airlines, but at the time, a pilot for Northwest Airlines, he came home and he was telling a story about one of his coworkers who had a friend who did payroll on a movie that was being shot over in Europe. And my dad told me this story. He said, yeah, so they went to Europe with their friend who did the payroll on a movie, and they got to see a real movie set. And my dad said, yeah, and on this movie set, everybody was mean to each other, but everybody was nice to the payroll person. And I remember hearing that story and being like, that is what I want to do when I grow up. I want to be in
you want
movies
to be mean?
And part of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, well, not that part. Not that part. I don't know. Yeah, it's an odd story to really connect you to the film industry. But I guess I was a little kid. I don't remember the exact age I was when I heard that story, but I remember thinking this. I was fascinated with the idea that there's real people who make the movies that you see in the theaters and who make the shows that you see on TV, and just the idea that real people do that. I was like, I want to do that one day. So I was interested early on, and then I actually got onto my first film set when I was 17 years old. A friend of mine connected me to a guy named Josh Walsh, and I don't know if you know him or not. He just produced the movie I Still Believe, or is involved in it. He's been a co-producer with a number of the Irwin Brother projects.
Wow. I have to admit, yeah, filmmaking, just the entire entertainment world for me is fascinating. I've also, been very interested in it since I was a kid. I mean, I was making, little movies with my dad's camera, and I do this because it was a little camera you held like this, and you had to literally wind it up. It was an 8mm. You'd wind it up, and you'd shoot. And I was doing films way back. I must have been about 10, 11 years old, maybe. So, it is a fascinating world. Now, but you transitioned from acting, because you said you got a part as an actor. At some point, you transitioned from acting into directing. What brought that along?
Well, I wanted to do projects, and originally starting off trying to do acting, but then there weren't very many projects. And this was, when you go back a decade and a half, there weren't that many kind of faith-themed projects even being made. So I didn't see a lot of the kinds of content that I wanted to be involved with, and that's really where I realized I may need to start being involved with producing and creating the content that we want to see. So that's kind of what really transitioned me into more directing and producing. And then after I started doing that, that's kind of what I mostly do now.
Now, you mentioned that there weren't that many Christian projects. Are you saying that you really were only interested in doing Christian content?
Well, I was interested in doing healthy content, maybe not necessarily overtly faith-based, as in like it's got to be a church, type of movie, but doing stuff that was family-friendly, redemptive, that had a good overall message. And there were some dark days in the early '90s there in entertainment. So we needed more of the content that's now flourishing and starting to do well. We're seeing a lot more great family content being produced, and I was at that time, it's like we've got to get involved and start making more of this so that there's more opportunities for people who want to not only consume it, but people who want to be a part of it as talent, as actors, as well as crew. We've got to start making, making healthy content.
Interesting that you say healthy content, because I have now for a couple of years been talking about feeding your soul healthy food. And I refer to the content that we either listen to or watch as the soul food. It's what feeds your soul. When you eat food through your mouth, you're feeding your physical body, but when you watch something or listen to something, you're feeding your soul. And so I've been talking about health food. So I'm so excited that you called it healthy content, because that's what I've been calling it. Now,
oh, good.
Now, you, in fact, I consider Parables. You're familiar with Parables? That's the place.
Yeah.
It's a company I run where we show all these, faith-based movies. I call it the health food store.
Oh, good. Yeah. And it kind of, the logo with the two leaves, it kind of looks like a health food store. It's got the healthy vitamin, all natural feel to it.
You know what? Unfortunately, recently our marketing department changed the logo, and it's no longer the two little leaves. I might have to talk to them about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have seen the new logo yet, but I did like the old logo.
Yeah,
I
got to admit I liked it too. Now, you not only became a director, and I guess in essence also started producing content, but you actually formed your own company. And you know what? When we come back, because we're going to take a little break right now, when we come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about the company that you formed to create this healthy content, all right?
Okay.
Folks, don't go away. We're going to be right back after this.
Got a postcard from the grandkids. They went to the Ark.
Yeah. What does it say?
Well, Annie says they had a blast and that it's really, really big.
Everything looks big to a 6-year-old.
Well, Hudson says it's even bigger than the castle.
Can't be that big. Can it? Go ahead. Think bigger.
Encourage TV. Family-friendly and faith-friendly content absolutely free. Subscribe today and watch hundreds of hours of content on our streaming channels. Visit encouragetv.com today.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with my friend Daniel Knudsen. Daniel, I mentioned at the end of our previous segment that you had, I don't know if you started a company or you're part of a company, but you are involved in a company called Crystal Creek Media that produces healthy content. Why did you get involved in that? And did you start it?
Yes. Okay, I guess I could say I'm both involved and helped start it. Technically, my dad started it. So my dad had a vision for this too, seeing there was a need for more good, healthy entertainment. And he was always kind of a storyteller. You know, growing up, he always told us stories. And he was a writer. So he was a pilot, but he'd write actually books on his overnights. And he was always interested in the creative writing aspect. And so that segued into deciding to create our own company that we could actually produce content. And so then in 2005, my dad started Crystal Creek Media, and our theme was they're based in the Bible verse in Revelation that out of the throne was flowing a clear river of life, clear as crystal. So we want to just be that refreshing, life-giving influence and story source in the entertainment industry. And obviously there's others, but we want to just contribute to that healthy entertainment.
Oh, I love it. I love it when you name something with a meaning of some sort. It's like parables. I mean, we named it parables because we're basically transmitting stories just like Jesus did, and we want to be Christ-like. So, is there a particular type of story that you like to tell?
I like stories that just touch the human emotions, and I really like stories that are friendship stories. We live in a world right now where there's just so much division, and there's people get on social media and they're going to Twitter battles with people who have differences of opinions, and I love stories of friendship, and any friendship story usually speaks to me, and those are kind of I like a lot of different kinds of stories, but those are one of the types of stories that I really like to tell that I think we can probably never have too many of, because I think the world needs more friendship.
I agree. That's very interesting. Now, you have also produced a series, I guess we can call it. It's a multi-episode series that actually, now that I think about it, that does deal with friendship, doesn't it? But it's sort of set futuristic, is it? Can you share a little bit with us about that series?
Yes, absolutely. So there's a series that I was able to produce called The King's Messengers, and it's an 8-part miniseries that's set in slightly in the future in kind of a fictional country called Zenora. That's a kind of one of these post-apocalyptic type thrillers. The country is in a disaster, and it's 2 refugees trying to survive in the forest and trying to just stay alive, and follows David and Anwar in their journeys to try to escape Zenora. So, that's the series. We had a lot of fun filming it and shooting it. We actually shot a lot of it literally way out in the woods. There's actually a part of it was on an island that we were filming at we had to carry everything in by hand. So carrying water in for the production and carrying all the equipment. It was a lot of hard manual labor, but a very fun project to film.
Wow. Now, I do want to let our audience know that as of, I can't remember now if it's September or October or something like that, you will be able to see that series on Parables. Just wanted to throw that shameless plug in there. You know what?
Yes.
But so that people get an idea, let's take a look at a quick trailer of the series.
My country is at war. Every day I wake up not knowing if today will be my last.
I'm David.
Zenora will have a new leader.
As soon as you turn to look, jump on the platform and knock the rifle off.
It doesn't matter if you believe it. No, it's true. It's true.
Our message did go through to Sutherland's computer. We will have more pressure from international communities to rescue them. Our social media aggregators did pick up the video under the hashtag The King's Messengers, and it's trending worldwide.
Where does your allegiance lie? To whom do you pledge your loyalty?
To the king above all kings.
Just how bad do you want to fight that army?
But with our God, there's much to explore. There must be a purpose he made us each for. His love was the reason his son paid the price. All evil was crushed through his sacrifice. Though our broken world is scarred by our sin, we all have great value placed there by Him.
Wow, that looks like something I certainly would want to see. It's not typical of your Christian programming, you know, where everything is just dandelions and roses or whatever. I mean, this one seems kind of edgy. It seems gritty. Was there a reason you went in that direction?
Well, you know, personally, I find the Hallmark style content is fun and fine, and we need that. But we also have to have content that's engaging the younger generation and engaging people who even enjoy different genres. So having something that's a little more action, that's got some darker scenes and exciting and tension and all of that. Those are also things that we need to create as part of our well-rounded diet of healthy entertainment that is, you know, that has still a very redemptive message and theme.
I agree, because it does have to be relevant to the millennials or to today's generation, because a lot of you call it Hallmarky type stuff, and it's stuff that I like, by the way, just great great family films and feel-good films. But you know, the millennials don't seem to gravitate to that, because that's not the world they live in. So they want to see something that's a little closer to the world they live in. And this kind of programming, of course, is probably what becomes more relevant to them. So glad you're doing this, man. Tell you what, we're going to take another break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about a film that you are part of with Superman. All right? Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Just one life, a perfect love. And your heart starts beating hard. I'm gonna keep on dreaming. I wanna feel that love. I wanna get that feeling. I wanna get that feeling.
You know they say it's really big.
What's really big?
An Ozark, silly.
Oh, I know. It's bigger than the size of our house.
It's a little bigger than that.
Like the size of 2 houses. No, 2 houses and a spaceship. I bet it's even bigger than the castle.
Don't be ridiculous. That's impossible.
This summer, think bigger.
Meet Will. Will wants to make a movie based in Bible times. No, maybe a Western. Well, maybe an apocalyptic movie. A biblical era apocalyptic Western? That would be so original. But Will needs some sweet sets to bring it to life, and Will is 25,352 miles away from any of those sweet, sweet sets. Or so he thinks. Fortunately for Will, there is a solution. Introducing Capernaum Studios, your ticket to realistic locations and everything else you need to bring your period-accurate story to life. Book a tour today, like Will, who is, yet to leave.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with my friend Daniel Knudsen. Daniel, now I know, and I mentioned it in the on the bio that I read at the beginning, that you've currently shot a film with the Superman, Dean Cain. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. Well, I did have a chance to work with one of my childhood heroes, and that is, of course, Dean Cain. We all enjoyed watching him in the adventures of Lois and Clark, and in real life, he really is just a Superman. He's such a nice guy. He's so friendly and kind, and I was in my new movie, Skydog, which is just a fun family adventure film, and it was a privilege to work with Dean. Dean's a great guy, and this one is more of a family film. It's not necessarily an overtly faith-based film, but it's I believe a healthy entertainment film that has a very positive, inspiring message.
Well, when you think about it, when Jesus told stories, they weren't, I mean, this is strange to say, but they weren't necessarily Christian
Faith
stories. Right, they were just stories of what was going on in life. So why we suddenly feel like we have to somehow, man, I'm gonna get in trouble, aren't I? We have to put like altar calls in them. I don't get it. You know what? Let's take a look at a trailer from this movie so we can understand a little bit more of what this film is about.
Josh, if you really want to fly, I need to know you're going to make the right decision every time. I'm preparing to land.
You didn't recommend him for the flight test?
No, I want Josh to have the judgment to handle anything.
Hey, is that your dog? You better keep him out of here. I'm going to call animal control.
Be safe. You're everything to me.
Love you, Mom.
Welcome to the Chesapeake Bay CIA Operations Center. Welcome, Agent Lifestone.
So what did your mom do?
Well, she's an accountant, I think.
Not do anything stupid.
The payment's been authorized.
This better go through.
Mr. Whitmore? Who's called Lifestone?
You are. Your parents work for us. A buy went bad today.
Canister's empty.
Okay, people, let's go. We've got an agent to find.
We have the weapon and the plane.
We told you not to pursue, or Agent Lifestone is history.
Don't get any crazy ideas.
We'll fly over the city tonight.
There's been a security breach. You cannot leave the house until the threat has been eliminated.
Put your hands right where I can see them.
Sir, Colin's caught 2 kids at your house.
Does he have a small dog with him?
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty hard to explain to my parents.
Why don't you just leave this to the CIA?
Can't. I think it's a corrupt agent on the inside. Go fetch.
Machine!
You don't have a driver's license so you can fly a plane?
Come on, Skydog. Let's fly.
Hey, that does look fantastic, and I would have certainly been thrilled to get to work with Dean Cain. But I tell you what, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to hold you to something. I'm going to help you promote this movie, but you need to try to help me to get Dean Cain to do an interview with me on Faith on Film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd love to introduce you guys.
I think that would be terrific. I'd love to interview with him. I've seen him in many films, and he does seem like just such a neat guy. So what's next? What's in the future for Daniel?
Well, good question. So right now I'm really working on this Skydog movie. We're just working on distribution and getting this project out there. I've got another documentary that's in post-production, and currently I'm just waiting out Corona apocalypse, trying to figure out what's going to be next myself along with the rest of the world.
Yes, I know. And hopefully by the time this program actually airs.
Oh, that's right. This isn't going to air right now. I'm thinking this is...
No problem, though. But I'm hoping by the time it airs, it is over. Because
yes, I hope so, too.
Yeah,
Lord allow, by the time you're watching this, things will be better.
I agree. Well, although I have to admit, this whole quarantine thing has not been that terrible for me. I've actually been able to accomplish so much. Because I used to fly a lot. I was always going somewhere, and so a lot of things fall behind. So this has been very helpful to me to accomplish a lot of things, both personal, business, and even just things that I felt God had said, I need you to do this, and I just was basically too busy to do it. So I think it all depends how you look at all this, right? But we still have to finish this and get out of it and get back into normal life.
We do need to finish this and get out of it, but I think that this can be a good moment for everyone to sit back, reevaluate some of our priorities in life. So I also work just in corporate media work. I do commercials. I talked to one of my largest client actually yesterday, and he was telling me that he's just such a busy guy, such a great guy who's working all the time nonstop. And he says as a result of the coronavirus, he wanted to take more time, spend more time with his son, and focus on his family, get he's actually from Lebanon. He says, I want to bring my dad over from Lebanon, and so that so that his grandson can really have a chance to have a relationship with his grandfather. So I think it is a good time for us to reevaluate our priorities in life. And we're so busy. Probably many of our viewers are going to be Americans who live here, maybe all over the world, but we tend to want to just fill our schedule up, and we're bam, 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 going all the time. And so it's time to God's cleared our schedule, take a step back, focus on the Lord, focus on what's really important in life.
Absolutely. So Daniel, if people want to follow you, if they want to connect with you, how would they do that?
Yes, pretty much any social media platform /Daniel Knudsen DK. So my last name is spelled Knudsen DK. And then my new movie, Skydog, I can tell you how to find that because it's real easy. There's this little jingle. It goes like this: www.skydog.tv. So now, hey, Isaac, I know you're a singer. Do you want to sing the jingle with me?
Okay.
How do people find out
Let's go.
the movie? They can go to this website, www.skydog.tv. Okay, well,
I messed that up.
The internet delay is making that duet a little bit more difficult in real life, but it is www.skydog.tv. So, sorry,
it's gonna be down there. It's gonna be in the bottom, so they'll get it.
Okay, it's down there on the bottom. Yeah, so that's the link.
Daniel, thank you so much, man, for taking the time, and appreciate you sharing your story. And hopefully, people will write you and just let you know that they're praying for you, because that's probably the most important part. All right.
Thank you. That is absolutely the most important part.
Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Encourage TV. Family-friendly and faith-friendly content absolutely free. Subscribe today and watch hundreds of hours of content on our streaming channels. Visit encouragetv.com today.
Where, madam, do you get your facts?
Tis in your journal, sir. Tis all in your journal.
Some would have you to believe today that all of this is the work of chance and not that of divine providence.
Good morning, Major Washington. His Lordship said that you are to insist that the governor send you with a letter addressing Mr. Christopher Gist.
They butchered him in front of his wife and children so that no provincial nor Indian not loyal to the French would dare venture to go where you and the governor would have us go.
Many in the House believe your trip to the French Commandant to be theatrics, to induce public sentiment both here and abroad for war.
How, George, do you respond to this indictment that some would say to be unreasonable reasoning in the age of reason?
Sir.
Be of any consequence if the boy dies in the wilderness.
He led us into Ottawa territory. That Indian will find his brothers and they will hunt us down.
You eat and you think like a boy.
What is your name, madam?
To you, my dear boy, I am simply Sally.
Say your goodbyes, Major.
Today, Mr. Gist, we are not only emissaries of the crown, but ambassadors of the divine. We shall cross, and without delay.
Oh my goodness, I barely have enough time to say goodbye on today's show. So till next week, take care.